Okay, we have a little different setup than when we last looked at this. You see we have everything back in place here. We've moved the carriage down. And I got some last minute advice. While I was sleeping, Brian Block was watching my video. And he told me this earlier, and I don't know why I'm disregarding it. But after further thought, he's absolutely right. I'd have a dickens of a time getting all four of those rods fed through this. Now the clutch technically doesn't run through the apron. There's a flange down here that it is connected to, and it's just screwed to the back of the apron. But for all intents and purposes, it is running through the apron. So we did accomplish one thing. We got all this cleaned up, and we got the project started, most importantly. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off this clutch mechanism, and we'll start right here with this nut or screw, and this is the linkage for the clutch. Links this handle to this handle. Now there's two cap head screws holding this bracket on, and that should fall free. And I tell you, the first time I had to reassemble that, it took me hours. It's one of those things that, you know, once you stepped away from it and rethought it, we just settled down a little bit. So we're going to take that off. Our goal is we need to get this plate off the back. Now this is a coupler, this is a coupler. That's the lead screw, and that is the feed. Those should be able to separate right here at these couplers. And I noticed the lead screw actually screws into this. I don't know if that's good or bad. The clutch is going to be free, so the only thing we need to worry about is this. This is the lever that changes feed direction. So we need to see what that looks like in here and how I'm going to get that freed. I may need to remove this electrical box and just swing it out of the way. Probably should do that anyway. All right. Well, we're going to have to get, maybe not, maybe I can stick this through here, stick this on there. No, we're gonna have to get the wobbler on that. So that's a 5/16. And that would be this one. And it is not very tight, is it? Well, despite that, it is in place. So I already pulled this tapered pin from the feed rod here. now the clutch is free, and I'm going to bring this lever back up. And just get that where we can. Okay, now we need to take the plate off here. So there's quite a bit of tension on that. Sorry about that. Okay. So that gets that out of the way. Then I actually need to take this out too. There, we'll never get that back in there. So let's, well, we'll come back and clean all these. So there's one rod out of the way. Now we got this one, and we got this one. So right off the bat, I can see I got a screw, a flathead slotted screwdriver that I can access. And okay, that is the lead screw. Okay, I want to turn that so that I can get to that screw. So I'm going to turn the machine on, put it on screw. And clutch is activated. That clutch isn't going to do. This is my only clutch right here now. So I need to get a bigger screwdriver, a bigger blade. I don't know how that's going to work. I can't even get the small blade in there. Oh, look at this. Are we seeing this? Okay, so feed. Well, looks like this is going to come together. I'm going to bring you back. As we sit now, I got the lead screw. I don't know if that's screwed into that or not, but look at that. This coupler is well, let's just say that's at least spinning free. But that doesn't mean anything, really. We need to get this out of there. So taps on the other end might loosen things up. If I can get it loose, I should be able to slide it right out. So I might get it loose by tapping it this way. With this. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this without you looking at my back the entire time. Maybe not the entire time, but let me bring you back as I progress. We'll get this plate off of here and I'll bring you back then. Okay, we've learned a few things. I was having trouble getting this. The feed direction rod, and that is down there with the gears on it, and then this is the opposing gear. So I just loosened this collar, slid the gear over, and that frees the shaft up from the gear. And now you have this here, this collar, and if you turn that enough ways, you'll find a screw which locks that in place, and I believe that is a Babbitt bearing. I just say that because of well, obviously those two pins there, but I believe this rod is now free to come out. So let's put this back here with that pin, and let's see. Okay, we are now we now have this is the clutch, and it is free and clear. This is the direction, feed direction, and it is free. It looks like the lead screw is just going to pull out of there, and the same looks with the feed screw. I believe those gears are just going to pull out, stay attached to everything. This plate and everything's going to come off. And you know what? The thing that kept me from following through on the headstock removal was getting the gearbox off. And if I got this thing off, the gearbox is going to be a breeze. So we're going to wrap up this whole deal. I mean, why not? I still have a machine to make parts, if parts be needed. Okay, let me see what it's going to take to separate this from all its friends there. I think it's, I mean, literally, it should just pull straight out. These gears are not even, the only thing indexing this is this right here. Is that pin right there. And this is the little booger that got me talked out of the last job, because I had no way of releasing that shifter from feed to screw. Man, this thing ought to come right off. I don't know what's even holding. Well, I think the only thing holding it on there is that pin. I'm going to get a little bit of weight off of it. Get a little pry bar maybe. Maybe I shouldn't be doing handheld through all this. Yeah, we shouldn't be holding this camera. And this is the gear train for my gearbox. This is the shaft that all those gears are riding on. Okay, and what does that have to do with next Tuesday? Okay, that's turning. So that's going to be able, that should be self-supporting. That shouldn't be relying on this to hold it. I think I'm so close. I think what's holding me up is the screw down on this end. Let's undo that screw. What do you think about that? Trying to keep all my tools. I'm limited to how many I have out. I'm going to pull this screw out down here. And I bet I bet you're gonna watch this thing come out. Ah, ah. Ha ha ha. Well, hello there. Rear of the apron. My. Would this be a time to paint or what? You should have seen the smile on his face when he heard the air brakes go on. Yeah. And that's not going to be tough to put back in. We just have to line up on this shaft here. And there's that pesky shaft I had trouble with in the past. So the gearbox is coming off, and which also means that headstock is coming off. Hey, please like and subscribe. Tell a buddy, bring a friend, because it is going to be happening. It is going to be happening right here on the Pratt and Whitney Model B 12x30 War Machine. That's beautiful, man. Like I said, the big stumbling block to getting this headstock off was getting this gearbox off, and that's my biggest, you know, this was my biggest barrier. There's 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's got to be another bolt there. There's 3, maybe 4 bolts holding this on. It might just be 3. I do want to put this on here. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay, well that's nice. That is a four start thread. One, two, three, four. It's a 4 start thread. That is what shifts the feed direction. Okay, one side has the is a threaded hole, and the other side is a, ooh, and it's going to matter how you start that thread too, which, whether or not these threaded holes line up. So I need these holes to be timed with this hole. That is obviously not it. Okay, that's it. So now that is now timed, so that hole shows up there, and that hole shows up there. In normal operation, this hole is on top, and this hole with the threads in it is on the bottom. So that'll be important when we're reinstalling that. And that just sits between these two bosses. And we can lay that right down here for cleaning. Okay, I'm just a little psyched, all right? So, let's call this one. Let's take a look at the back side of this apron before we close this off. Okay. There's obviously a cover on the back of this that needs to come off, and you'll be able to see a lot of this. This, let me get a pointer. Okay, this is the clutch for the crossfeed. If you watch that get sucked in, and it's just a screw. There it is. Now here is the clutch for the cross slide, and it is obviously not functioning. But once again, it's only a screw. Here's the half nut, and that looks like a Babbitt. Would you not agree? There's a Babbitt bearings in there. Here's the thread dial. I can't tell what that is in there yet. That might be just the plate holding that on. And the way I understand it, everything here is just pressed fit. There's no screws back here other than what's holding this plate on. No pins. No needles. Get you a look at this cavity here. And what in the hell are these gears here engaging with? They are only engaging with this, which engages with all these gears. Well, that makes sense. So let's grab the clutch and bring it down. And we'll bring the cross slide down. Yeah. You know, it's not me on this thing, you know. Number one, Brian Block has offered me a lot of advice, and it's always rang true. People like Jean Paul, Fred Flintstone, George, you know, they're teaching me things about, I don't know, about clear thinking. And, you know, without, you know, guys like that, and of course all the unsung, you know, all the people who I just, you know, I'm watching their videos and picking up, you know, this and that, and not even really, you know, aware that I'm learning. But George W., Jean Paul, I mean, there's so many, you know, the commenters. Fred Flintstone comes to mind because, you know, it's such a, that name is just so familiar to me. I was at the grocery store last night, and the guy called me Gabe Kaplan. He could have swore that I was Mr. Carter. I'm a little excited, guys. All right.